Hello and welcome. This is the newsroom for today, Monday, June 14, 2021. We're broadcasting to you on E1, Scar TV, NTN and Tarsi TV in Bartica. These are the headlines. 3 killed in West Coast Berbice accident. The government goes to the National Assembly for a supplementary budget of over $23 billion. First Lady is godmother of the second oil ship which will operate offshore Guyana.
This will materialize in the form of local content growth, meaning more jobs for Guyanese.
The incredible story of the East Bank fishman who has been buying and selling for over 4 decades. And in sport, the Director of Sports, Steve Ninval, gets first-hand assessment of track construction in Berbice, and Guyana Badminton Association on a mission to expand the sport locally. With the news, I'm Neil Marks. We're glad you could join us. 3 persons were killed when the driver of a taxi lost control during the early morning downpour on Monday, Shakima Day reports.
The accident claimed the life of 23-year-old taxi driver Carlos Edwards of 39 Stanleytown, New Amsterdam, 61-year-old ex-policeman Hukum Chan Parmanand of number 36 Village, Kernteen, Berbice, and 36-year-old Shabana Latif of Brothers Village, East Bank, Berbice. Edward's 6-month-old daughter Carolyn and her mother, 27-year-old Joycelyn Cole, along with 57-year-old Lekram Mangal of 696 Angois Avenue, New Amsterdam, are currently hospitalized. Edwards was proceeding west along the public road at Fort Wellington at the time of the accident. According to the police report, he lost control of his car during the early morning downpour and crashed into a lamppost, turning Turtle into a drain on the southern side of the road. The deceased taxi driver's mother, Siobhan Edwards, spoke to the newsroom on Monday via telephone. The distraught woman relayed that her son plied the New Amsterdam to Georgetown route and was making his first trip when tragedy struck. Can you talk to me about the last time you saw and you spoke to him?
Yes, we had a starting mother from that was the long. And his father saw him this morning.
Who told you about the accident?
My husband. He just told me the accident and the cell dying didn't really make him.
And y'all traveled to the scene. When y'all went there, what happened?
Yeah. When I got to the scene, he was already dead at the hospital. We're almost dead.
Those injured in the crash were rushed to the Fort Wellington Public Hospital, where Edwards, Parmanand and Latif were pronounced dead on arrival. The other passengers were treated and later transferred to the New Amsterdam Public Hospital for further treatment. Further investigations are in progress. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Shakima Day.
The government today sought approval from the National Assembly of supplementary budget of over $23 billion, including $10 billion for flood relief. Kurt Campbell has more.
Up against disapproval from the APNU-AFC coalition opposition, the government pushed ahead on Monday to defend its move to the National Assembly, seeking supplementary funding to the tune of $23.2 billion. Included in that sum is $10 billion for the government flood relief and flood recovery efforts. The government is also asking for $1.5 billion for the Guyana Sugar Corporation, Gaisuku. But the government also intends to spend on its infrastructural projects and to also procure drugs and other medical supplies. Some $17 million will be spent on the purchase of COVID-19 vaccines. Here is Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony defending the government's move to the National Assembly for funding to support COVID-19.
What we need to do now, Mr. Chairman, is that every single member in this House should assist us to make sure that every single adult Guyanese take their vaccine. That is what is important. Because vaccines are available. What we need now is people to take the vaccines. And if we can get that support where we go to every area and make sure that people encourage them to take their vaccines, then we will be able to exit this pandemic very quickly. But if we continue to be hesitant, and if we continue to send these ambivalent messages pertaining to vaccine, then it is going to cause more vaccine hesitancy. And I want to appeal again to all the members to make sure that we have a united stand and voice in encouraging people to take vaccines. Once we do that, Guyana would be much safer.
First Lady Arya Ali is the godmother of the Liza Unity, the second floating production, storage and offloading vessel, which will operate in the giant oil fields offshore Guyana in the block held by ExxonMobil and its partners. The vessel is twice the size of the one currently in operation. It is built to produce 220,000 barrels of oil per day with an overall storage volume of up to 2 million barrels. The First Lady dedicated the ship on Saturday at a ceremony held at Cara Lodge in Georgetown, marking the beginning of the ship's sail from Singapore to Guyana. The ship is expected to start up by 2022. Traditionally, the vessel Godmother bestows luck and protection over the vessel and crew during its journey.
On this celebratory occasion, I name this vessel Liza Unity and wish to once more recognize the tremendous work of all those who made this possible and continue to contribute to this project. The discovery and responsible development of oil and gas resources in Guyana makes me optimistic that our collective efforts to eliminate poverty, reduce economic disparities, and further advance efforts to unite this great nation will bear fruit. I could not pass on an opportunity to be part of this historic undertaking, having recognized the important role this vessel and others like it will play in Guyana's development. Of course, this will materialize in the form of local content growth, meaning more jobs for Guyanese and more opportunities for local businesses. It also means increased revenues, which, when prudently managed, will certainly help us to achieve many of the aspirational goals which have been outlined by the government of Guyana.
Not much more than 6 years ago, we first discovered the Liza field. And so here we are celebrating the milestone of almost setting sail with the Liza Unity from Singapore to Guyana. And it's the second phase of development of the Liza field. Why two phases? Well, one, we were blessed to discover a really significant field with multiple reservoirs. And so that enabled us to do the development in two phases, to say, let's get as early production as we can. And so that led us to develop the Liza Destiny, the very first oil production starting in December of 2019. Really just over 4 years after the first discovery. Quite a remarkable and industry record-setting achievement. We knew that the field was big enough to support a second vessel, and so we're very proud to partner with SPM in the development of the field with the second vessel, which is almost, as Janelle said, twice the size of Destiny. And for those that have seen Destiny, it's an impressive vessel. So imagine twice the size, twice the capacity, somewhere around 220,000 barrels per day of production capacity.
We see this as a partnership with the operators, with EEPGL, CNOC, and other companies that operate offshore Guyana. We are in this as partners. We are the regulators, as government, we are the regulators, but we see you as a partner to our development. And we see you as a partner that will bring benefits to the Guyanese populace, to every single Guyanese, of course, through our local content policy. And I want to commend the oil and gas companies, the companies operating in Guyana, because we are still in the stage of finalizing our local content policy. And we have already seen the efforts that are being made by ExxonMobil and others to ensure that local content takes precedence.
A total of 2,779 people received their first and second doses of the COVID-19 vaccines at the drive-through events held at the National Stadium Providence and Movie Tongue Mall, Turkine. according to Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony.
On the first day, Saturday, we had about 735 persons who came to Movie Town, and at the National Stadium we had about 700 persons that came. So I think we had a good day, given that some people came by themselves in a car. We would prefer that more people would have come together to see carpooling, but I think it was quite successful. And on day 2, which was on Sunday, we had 694 persons that came to Movie Town and 650 at the stadium. So I think, in summary, we've had quite a bit of success with this type of exercise where people are driving through and getting their vaccines. And a lot of people would have commented on the efficiency, the way they were able to come and get their vaccines quite quickly. I think a lot of people enjoy that. So we are going to examine and we are going to continue to do a number of these exercises. We will be consulting with communities to see where we can ideally place them. So in Region 4, we are already looking at a couple of other sites that we think would benefit some of the other communities in Region 4. We have already spoken to the people in Region 3, and next week we'll be doing a drive-through in Region 3. So the details of that, during the week we'll talk a little bit more about the Region 3 drive-through. And we're also working on one for Region 2 and one in Region 6.
Meanwhile, the minister said that the vaccination uptake in Region 8 and Region 10 is still low compared to the other regions. Region 1 now has the highest vaccination rate of 53.2% of its adult population, while Region 10 has a vaccination rate of only about 13.6%. You're watching the newsroom. Exercise Tradewinds 2021, a United States Southern Command-sponsored multinational Caribbean security exercise, is currently underway in Guyana. It is expected to provide a framework to address the challenges of sustained peace and stability in the region. This is according to Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force, Brigadier Godfrey Best, who declared the exercise open on Sunday. Vishani Raghavir has more.
The Tradewinds multinational exercise will occur until June 25th in various locations across Guyana. Through Exercise Tradewinds, troops will participate in joint, combined and interagency partner nation capacity building, focused on increasing regional cooperation in complex multinational security operations, as well as in humanitarian assistance and disaster response operations. Speaking at the opening of the exercise at the Guyana Defense Forces Base Camp I in Ghana in Georgetown, Chief of Staff of the GDF, Brigadier Godfrey Best, called on troops to use the exercise as a means of learning and embedding a shared sense of commitment, peace, and mutual sustainable goals in each participant.
Sustained peace and stability across the Caribbean region and within the borders of our partner nation is of critical importance to all, particularly in the face of global environment that is witnessing unprecedented change on the political, economic, technological, environmental, and human sustainability spectrums. In our region, the very visible perennial threats to social and economic stability continue to be the annual hurricanes, floodings, and persistent narco-trafficking. In some of our territories, gang violence is undermining such stability. Up until June 26, we aim to work alongside each other, putting to work best practices as far as joint interagency collaborative engagement is suitable for addressing various challenges in our nations. This exercise must be more than just an opportunity to meet and make friends. It must, in a broader and deeper sense, realize in each participant and in each leader that sense of necessity of shared commitment to peace and achievement of mutual sustainable goals. It must also provide a framework for evaluating how we move forward given challenges that may arise.
Meanwhile, U.S. Southern Command J79 Deputy Director, who was involved in the planning of exercise Tradewinds, Lieutenant Colonel retired Kevin Bostick, said that much planning went into this year's event despite the COVID-19 pandemic, since it is crucial for building partnerships.
And what this does is build partnerships, strengthens our partner capacity. It shows the security efforts, so we can defeat threats if need be, and we know nobody can do it alone.
Importantly, in light of the ongoing nationwide flooding, troops will also benefit from training and best practices for such situations. Reporting for the Newsroom, I am Vushani Ragabir.
The Civil Defense Commission has reported that regions 2, 5, 6, 7 and 10 are the 5 hardest hit regions as flooding continues across the country. The Newsroom interviewed a number of residents in different communities in Region 6 who spoke about how they have been affected and the emergency works being done to help mitigate the situation.
Not easy water me get inside this yard. There are at least about 3.5 feet water. Right? And now me got assistance and the water they pull easy. Give me all my things, my cash crop all over down inside there, all there out. I had some lemon tree, I had some lime tree, I had sucker, what the one pear tree down there, all of them there out. Right? I had couple fowler on the paint up there, my feet no fowler. Me gotta stay in here because my job is just at the back here. And me gotta right from here, me gotta go out there, then right come in, you got hard from me. Right? You got hard, you got rough from me. Right? Me and Mara know for ride motorbike. One time I ride motorbike, my father bruise up my whole skin. But that's screw me aside and I with that.
All the water with the springtime and the overtopping rain, because if you lose over 50 acre rice. The back here, combine it over 3 times and harvest the rice, everything on the water. As yesterday I visit the place, everything wipe out.
This happen every year?
No, not regular.
Okay. And this is the first time you suffer these kind of losses?
No, we last, but not so like this year, so. This year, so actually half of the crop got on for me.
This yard never keep dry. And as you can see now, me plan to do a little repair, like raise the bottom house and doing full for the kids. Because little kids want to run, no, you can't do nothing. Because every day you keep wetting, what are you going to do? You can't do nothing.
Since when this starts?
This is like 15 days we upon it. That is exact. 10 days we like it till hay water. Past me, 10 days. And you can see it for the wall for 10 days and kids and they have to in and out. For 26 years, this is the first time we have this kind of flood. We have flood, but not like so big. We have like, we last like 1, 2, 3 days and that's it. We never had it like this. And last so long and like so much damages and so much losses, we never had it.
It's like around 3 weeks now. Since this water, like it had a small amount of water and then as the days goes by it keep rising. And then now it going down and as soon as the rain start fall, it go up back again. Due to the water, the pen at the back, the pen was flooded and they didn't have anywhere to stay. And alligator, due to the high water, the alligator just come close, like till next to the flower tree. Sometimes the mango tree will see there. That was Wednesday and the alligator went right there and jumped on one and then ducked and gone with it.
And you thought we had to move the sheep pen outside too?
Yeah, we had to move the sheep pen because the lammy them and so forth can't stand the water, so them keep dying. Some sheep and so on, we had goat and things, some of them die too. Due to the water.
So they flood the water, flood in my kitchen, my bottom house. I had to move out. Till top my knee of water there. Yes.
Okay, so you move and you come here?
Yes.
Whose house is this?
This is my mother's house. Thought of something here, I live in Blackbush.
Anything like this ever happen?
Well, one time I haven't get, but not like this time. This time terrible. Overmarked.
Yeah, you know.
Morning when we wake, I tell my son, oh God, come see what happened here. I got fetch and come over. Yes.
What do you think caused this?
Well, the rainfall and the water will flow over too. Because one time rainfall, but I'm going to get flood like this. You understand? The water will push and swell up all over. Them set up pump and clean up them water clean with the high mark and so. Now see this water not been go down up to now. Well, you see, since flood, me no go back to my house.
Meanwhile, the Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa over the weekend returned to communities in the Mycone Creek to get an updated assessment of the situation there.
And the water is still very high in this area here. As a matter of fact, we have seen the road is still, the water is still going over the road. We can't do anything presently. We have to wait until the water from the back recede. But what we'll do, I have instructed NDIA to do some immediate work. That is they have a smooth at the end, that they built from the dam there, so that they will break that at the outlet so the water will drain across the road. There are a number of residents who have expressed concern that that area, that smooth is blocking the water from draining totally into the river. So the engineer has advised that we break the smooth where the outlet will take the water to the river. That we'll be doing. GLDA will continue the exercise that they started. However, in this case, they will go house to house to take feed and also look at the domestic animal to give them veterinary services and things like that. So that will continue. The CDC, the region, and other corporate bodies, they have given hampers to various households. And that will continue. The region has been providing pure water for the household because the water, all the lines are covered here. And the medical team was in the area and we'll continue to monitor the situation. What we'll be doing also, there are some old bridges in the creek that we'll dismantle so that we can get free flow of water. And we have our pontoon with the 2 excavators that will open up the creek, the Mycone Creek, to get better flow. We have finished excavate the mouth of the river. We are getting better draft now into the ocean, and hopefully that could speed up the draining of the water. But as I am speaking here, the water from the backland is very high, and those water have to come down here and pass through the housing area before it drains through the Atlantic, through the river. So that's the problem that we are faced with here. So we'll have to continue to monitor the situation and ensure that this situation can be remedied in the fastest possible time.
To mitigate the massive floods that have hit Region 6, the regional authorities have mobilized a number of drainage pumps in various communities to get the water out of houses and farmlands. The Newsroom's Vishani Raghubi reports.
Region 6, East Berbice quarantine, has been among the harder hit regions across Guyana as the country grapples with nationwide flooding. Since the middle of May, a number of communities across this region have been inundated with floodwaters. On Saturday, however, the newsroom traveled to many of these communities, and what we found was that the waters had begun receding. We're here in Kilcoy Chesney, one of the communities that was previously inundated, but the water seems to be leaving the land. This is perhaps due to the interventions by the regional authorities to help drain this water off the land.
Some of the interventions that we have made so far is to install pumps in all these areas. Of course, when the sluice is operable, we use the sluice when the tide is low. But when the tide comes up, we have to use the pumps. So we have the regular pumps that has been in place before the flood situation. And then we have installed quite a number of other pumps because of the floods. And so we have also hired, because we don't have enough pumps, we have hired rice field pumps, you know, these pumps with tractors that the rice farmers would use to pump water out of their fields. We have hired quite a number of those to pump water out of the residential areas. The thing is, what we are doing, we are empoldering these residential areas. And then once we empolder these areas, then we are using these pumps to pump water out of them. But what we find, when you're pumping water, you have to pump into these canals. And then when you pump the water from the residential area into the canals, you find that the water goes over to another village, because these villages are separated by canals. And so once you swell the canal, it gets into the other residents. So it's a situation we are grappling with. It's not a very easy situation to control, but we are seeing some amount of results at the moment.
Though there has been some relief as a result of these drainage efforts, residents and farmers agree that if these drainage works were done sooner, the heavy rainfall and high tides would have had a lesser impact on the communities.
Once the drains them dig it gone, the water gonna go away. Them trench and in the front it won't dig out. But
Region
the
come and dig it?
Right now I think them digging, yes, right through them there, pumping out and digging out. Only when the flood come, they come in and dig. But if they continue cleaning them trench, the water gonna keep on thinging.
Them set up pump and clean up them water clean with the high mark and so. Now see this water not been go down up to now. Why see since flood me to go back to my house?
As the rainy season continues, Director General of the Civil Defense Commission CDC, Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig, on Sunday related that there will be an intensification of drainage works in the farming communities in regions 2, 5, and 6. To facilitate this, he said that Guyana has made a request for additional pumps from overseas partners. Reporting from Region 6 for the Newsroom, I am Vishani Raghavi.
Watching the Newsroom. When most of us are sleeping just after midnight, Mr. Harun Esau makes his way down to the thriving fish wharf at Meadowbank, East Bank, Demerara, to purchase the finest set of fresh fish he could find. At sunrise, he heads out on a bicycle across several communities to supply his loyal customers, who know him simply as Fishman. What has kept him in the business for over 40 years? He told the Newsroom his story in this piece produced by Riaz Matura.
Banga, snapper trout, catfish, I want to cross.
My occupation is a fish vendor. Since 1978, I took up this work. And now, since much years now, I'm in it, like, coming on to 42 years now. I'm in this job. That's what I mind my family with, my wife, my kids them, and so forth. When I wake up in the morning, say about 1:45, say 12:30, 1:45, I wake up. Now I'm doing my normal chore, go to the washroom, take a shower, take a shower, brush my teeth. My missus might wake up, she make a cup of coffee or give me a cup of porridge. Then I pack up, well, over the afternoon, I put everything inside the car trunk, all my bucket and whatever. Pull out around about, say, 1 o'clock, 1:45. Within that span of time, I pull out and go on and meet at the wharf there. I purchase my fish from them, buy my fish. Because the reason why I come early is because to get a better deal. You get a better deal because when you come early, you buy that from the boat itself. Instead, you buy from the third hand or the second hand, you can call it, right? Now, we have two sets of people that come on the wharf to purchase fish here. It's like me, I'm a hawker. In fact, a fish vendor, but you use the word hawker. And then you have the eaters who just come and buy it too. The eaters just probably sometimes they pay a more extra price because they come late, they buy back from me. As you can see, this mackerel inside is very fresh, you know. Let's leave the wharf around 4 o'clock in the morning there, 4:15, come back to the masjid at Magdumas. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. I offer my prayer there. When I done pray, then I come down to Eccles in Cowpen Street, park my vehicle there, took my bicycle up, load up, and go across in the scheme. And I would wait there by my father-in-law corner days till 6:30 and I start sung my bell, sung my voice around the area. I'm coming around my fish. Fish, fish! Fish, fish! Fish, fish! Bass your mackerel! You know? And sell around, and by the time As I told you before, by the time 9:30, depends on the sales on the road, 9:30, 9 o'clock, I finish 10 o'clock. By then 10:30, I'm back home. You know, I have a lot of customers because I supply from Eccles to Houston, that's my area. I sell like gillbacker, snapper, gray snapper, red snapper, trout. I got like bangamary. I sell catfish, chorus. Whatever my customers, I have customers in various, you know, some might like chorus, some might like catfish, some might like gillbacker, some might like snapper. And whatever they tell me, well, I purchase that. I love the job because, you know, you get by, you know, you interact with a lot of people, you know, different people, rich people, poor people, you know, and this kind, you know, different people, you know, different religion, and so different, you know, you interact with them, and so, you know. I find it very nice, you know. For me, I feel comfortable in doing fish work, you know. You are self-employed. You work, you go when you want, you come when you want. There's no one to tell you anything, you know. You're the boss of yourself. Sometimes I might get a little extra work. So after lunch, I got a little weeding. I pick up my grass cut and I got a hustle. As my age, as I October come, I'll be 65. But thank the good Lord, I still have a little health and strength, and I'm making full use of it. Since the COVID, honestly speaking, it affects business a lot. As a small fish vendor, a small man, it affects me. It affects. Because the sales is not so like before 2020. In 2019 was fine, but as soon as COVID, the sales has deteriorated, you know. And then you see with the mask now, I just got to run mask, but I just got to put it down because I don't have a shell out, I just got to use my voice to notify the people I'm around. I had to pull down the mask. But when I meet to my customers, I pull it up back. I try to take all precaution I can take, I take it, you know, for my own self, for my family, for my neighborhood. I'm asking you outside there, you can please take all the precaution from the elder to the young ones. Please, I'm begging you all. If something is very, very serious, we can see out of the world, we can see right home in our own country, how it just have our country economy just shaking, you know, and I beg everyone outside there, please, take all the precaution, wear on your mask, sanitize, and take your vaccine. Because up to yesterday, me and my wife took our second dose vaccine, and thank God we feel good. We feel good. Yes, we took it at Diamond Grove, Tarmac. And I'm begging you all, please, can go and take your vaccine. The young people, especially, because you have some of the young people, seems to me like they don't believe in it. And I'm begging you all, young ones, old ones, please, take your vaccine. Thank you. God bless you.
When the newsroom returns, the financial weather and bridge reports along with sport. Welcome back. You're watching the newsroom. It's time for sport. Director of Sport Steve Ninval on Saturday last traveled to the county of Berbice to get a first-hand assessment of works being done on the synthetic track and field facility at Burnham Park, New Amsterdam. As we hear in this report, works have been stalled for quite some time on the facility.
Ninval met with consultant at Aquasun Designs Inc., Oren Boyce, and engineers Jason Baptiste and Ryan Ramsaran attached to BK International. Construction, according to the director, is 75% complete. He urged the consultant and contractor to look at ways of getting the project to its completion in a timely manner. According to Ninval, he is expected to be furnished with a report from the consultant and contractor by Friday, June 18, as it relates to how they would be moving forward, given the project has been at a standstill for some time. The director of sport added that frequent visits would be made to the Berbice facility, as well as the one currently being built at the Bayrock Ground in Linden, to assess works there. He said these visits coincide with government's push to deliver on promises to the sport fraternity. In October 2018, BK International Inc. was awarded a contract for the Region 6 track to be built at Burnham Park, New Amsterdam, Berbice, to the tune of approximately $141 million. Builders Hardware and General Supplies was given a nod for the facility at Bayrock Community Centre Ground, Wismer Linden, to the tune of $179 million. There were 14 tenders for the Region 6 project and 12 for the one in Region 10. Currently, there is only one synthetic track in Guyana, located at Lenora on the west coast of Demerara.
Avinash Ramzan is up next with the rest of the day's sport. I'm Neil Marks. Take care.
We tell you now that Guyana's senior national women's hockey team will travel to the USA later this month to compete in the Indoor Pan American Cup with the hope of bettering their performance from 2017 when the tournament was last held in Guyana. 4 years ago, debutantes Guyana finished 6th in the 7-team tournament at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall with just a solitary win from their 6 games. Powerhouses USA played unbeaten to win the championship. This year, Guyana and 4 other nations will compete in the round-robin competition in Feasterville, Pennsylvania, the others being hosts USA, Argentina, Canada, and Uruguay. On June 25, the opening day of the tournament, Guyana will play defending champions USA and 2017 runners-up Argentina, followed by clashes against Canada and Uruguay the following day. The final and third-place playoff will take place on June 27. Coach Philip Fernandes is optimistic about the national team's return to international competition after such a long layoff. The aim now, Fernandes explained, is to build on the experience gained in 2017. Several players from the highly successful national junior hockey program have been included in the squad, and they are eager to test their skills at the international level, Fernandes divulged. He said the team is well prepared and has a good blend of junior talents and experienced heads. Fernandes explained that while it would be difficult for Guyana to win the tournament, which is what is required in order to make it to the World Cup in Belgium in 2022, he is confident anything is possible if the players perform to their optimum. Meanwhile, GT&T, a longtime supporter of hockey in Guyana, made a contribution of $2 million to the national female hockey program. Fernandes said the hockey board is grateful for the assistance, noting that GT&T has been a partner in hockey for more than 2 decades. Badminton news now. In an effort to spread the game across the country, the Guyana Badminton Association at the weekend introduced the Shuttle Time project to 2 schools in the county of Berbice. A team led by President of the Guyana Badminton Association and national coach Gokan Ramdani visited the New Amsterdam Multilateral Secondary School and the Berbice High School to interact with students, share details on the Shuttle Time project, and distribute equipment. Ramdani was accompanied by Guyana's top national and international players Narayan Ramdani, Priyana Ramdani, and Akili Haynes. Shuttle Time was introduced in Guyana in 2017, with the target group being primary and secondary school teachers, and the aim being to introduce children aged 5 to 15 to badminton. During the visits, the association presented the schools with Shuttle Time kits, including rackets, shuttlecocks, and nets, to help them with keeping the sport of badminton active at the schools. Narayan and Priyana Ramdani also made a personal presentation of 11 rackets to potential players of both schools to encourage them to pursue the sport. The association expressed gratitude to headmistress of Berbice High School, Colleen Liddell, and head of the Allied Arts New Amsterdam Multilateral School, Sion Bristol, along with the physical education teachers for arranging the large turnout of students for the Shuttle Time project at their respective schools. The next stop for the Shuttle Time project is Linden. Shuttle Time is the first such program to be hosted in Guyana, and it came to fruition following the Guyana Badminton Association President Gokan Ramdani making presentation at the World Federation's AGM in Gold Coast, Australia in May 2017. The Badminton Association over the years has been clamoring for the sport to be prominent in schools nationwide, and Ramdani believes the hosting of the Shuttle Time project is a positive step in that direction. Guyana became the 106th country where the Shuttle Time program was introduced. We tell you now that West Indies cricket legends Sir Leary Constantine and Desmond Haynes were inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame at the weekend. They have joined a list of fellow cricketing icons who have received this prestigious honour. The late Leary Constantine was an early pioneer of West Indies cricket and an outstanding all-rounder. He was a member of the celebrated team which played in the first Test match in West Indies history in England in June 1928. He played 18 Test matches and made an indelible contribution to the sport and the West Indian community at home and abroad. Haynes was one of the most successful opening batsmen in the history of the game and formed a world-famous batting partnership with his long-standing teammate Gordon Greenidge. He was a member of the West Indies World Cup champion team in 1979. Haynes played 116 test matches and scored 7,487 runs, including 18 centuries at an average of 42. He also made 8,648 runs in 238 ODIs, which included 17 centuries. And Kagiso Rabada claimed his 10th 5-wicket haul to lead South Africa out of the West Indies by an innings and 63 runs midway through the third day of the first test at the Darren Sammy Cricket Ground in St. Lucia. West Indies, facing a first innings deficit of 225, resumed the final day precariously placed at 82 for 4 and were eventually dismissed for 162. Final scores: West Indies 97 and 162, South Africa 322. Rabada was outstanding on day 3, adding 3 more wickets to his overnight 2 to end with 5 for 34 off 20 overs. Anrique Noike, who took 4 for 35 in the first innings, took 3 for 46, while left-arm spinner Keshav Maharaj claimed 2 for 23. Roston Chase made the only score of note for the Caribbean side, a fighting 62 off 156 balls, as no other batsman got past Kieran Powell's 14. Quinton de Kock, for his career best unbeaten 141 in South Africa's lone innings, was named the man of the match. The second and final test starts on June 18 at the same venue. England's dismal second test defeat was confirmed inside an hour on the fourth morning at Edgbaston, giving New Zealand a 1-0 series win. The home side lost their last wicket to the first ball of the day, with Oli Stone edging behind off Trent Boult. That meant New Zealand had only 38 runs to chase, which they did inside 11 overs to win by 8 wickets. It is England's first home series defeat since 2014, when Sri Lanka won a 2-match series 1-0. And it is New Zealand's first success in England in 22 years and leaves them in a fine fettle heading into the World Test Championship final against India at the Ageas Bowl that starts on Friday. England move on to limited overs matches against Sri Lanka and Pakistan before a 5-test series against India begins in August. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. My name is Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.